6 years in the making, but we have finally made it to the Sonoma Raceway. As hello everyone, it's Josh Mertz bringing you the call for round number 3 of the 2018B NASA RallyCross Challenge season, and I say it that way because we tested at this venue 6 years ago. We're supposed to go to it for round number 2 of that inaugural season, and clearly that did not happen, but we're finally here, getting ready to race. Let's jump right into the format, and then we'll take you on board for a ride. We've got 9 cars here today. So 2 heat races of 6 laps apiece, Joker once. An LCQ of 4 laps, Joker once. And the final is 6 cars for 10 laps with the Joker lap twice. And remember, you cannot Joker on the first lap of the race. This is a very interesting track, so let's jump right on board and take a look. So over the jump on board, Marwan Mokhtar in car number 191, our points leader, crossing the start-finish line. Running reverse here on the longer portion of the Sonoma Raceway. Fourth gear, very tricky corner to get right. Want to make sure you get the car to be a little bit sideways to rotate through the corner once you crest the hill. Jump that little that asphalt there on the right when you crest that hill. It grips the car. To the left, stay as far left as you can. Means you have to shift from 5th down to 4th. Blind entrance back onto the road course for a quick drop. Down to 3rd gear, right-hand corner in the runoff of the short course that the NASCAR boys use. Joker lap on the right-hand side, but a right-hander back onto the drag strip over the jump, and that was a lap at the very quick Sonoma Raceway. As Mokhtar was beaten by Mertz in the seeding round, you'll see Mokhtar in heat number 2 in just a couple moments. Getting ready to go for the first heat race. We've got Josh Mertz on pole, Ray Kingsbury, Chris Wetz, and Zach Johnson. So 2 Fords, a Subaru, and a Volkswagen, along with Jacob Harberts. Getting ready to go for the first heat race here in Sonoma. Wetz jumps a little bit. Don't know if he's going to get a penalty as we rev him up. Green flag off the line. Johnson nearly gets hit by Harberts. Wetz battling him for 4th. Into turn 1. The last lap teammates side by side. It's Ray Kingsbury v. Harberts, but Mertz will take the lead into the dirt and the drag strip for the first time. Over the jump goes the MRT Subaru. Johnson looks like he had issues over the jump there along with Wetz as we take the first lap of the race. Into the dirt for the first time. Sliding it is Mertz in the 2, followed by Kingsbury, Harberts, Wetz, and Johnson. As these cars were running 39-second lap times at the end of practice. That's before the officials here at the track put more dirt on the surface, so it's a dirty track once again, and this should be fascinating as Kingsbury trails Mertz in the MRT Subaru as we are through the first corner. Remember, still no Joker on the first lap of the race, but Harberts is going to take it, and he's going to be disqualified from the heat race. As race control immediately over the scanner to car number 80, Mertz leads at the end of the first lap, but Harberts disqualified from the heat race. And remember, this is the 2nd time this season that someone has been bit by that, as Wetz got that in the LCQ, so we'll have to see what happens to the 80. Still on track. Has not parked the car. Harberts' teammate Kingsbury hounding Mertz in the 2. And looks like Harberts has not gotten the message yet, as he is still out in front. Mertz Jokers on the first opportunity, the 2nd lap of the race. So we'll have to see what happens here. As he takes lap number 3. Harberts finally gets the message, I believe. No, he hasn't. I'm not sure what's going on in car number 80. He has not parked, but he runs off the track. And I believe he finally gets the message from race control as car number 80 looks like he is done in the heat race. He's going to park it on the side of the road. And Johnson has run off the track in car number 77. Not really sure. We don't have a camera angle on him. We'll have to take a look and see what we can find. Wetz in 3rd, and Johnson and Harberts off the track. So we've only got the 3 cars left. Halfway home in the heat race, and Mertz is pulling away from now Chris Wetz in 2nd. 42.934 to a 41.271. That was a Joker lap from Wetz. And then Kingsbury 43.824. So a second faster is Mertz in car number 2, and something clicked finally in this Subaru for the German, as a couple disappointing weeks in Daytona and Phoenix But here in Sonoma, something has clicked inside of car number 2. And we know from the Gen 3 days that Mertz is very good, for example, on winding and flowy circuits. St. Eustache being one of them. 8 wins, I believe, in Canada at the one track alone. So the fast and flowy stuff is where car number 2 excels. But it is not over till it's over. 2 laps to go for car number 2. We'll have to see if he can hold this lead. 42.724, Wett's a 43 dead, and Kingsbury 42.795. So he's on pace with Mertz, but I don't think Kingsbury's jokered yet. And we'll have to see what will happen with car number 25. I don't know if Wetz is holding him up or not. This could potentially be hindering the 25's progress. As jokering now is Kingsbury. Going to take the white flag. Where is Mertz? Mertz is over the jump. Kingsbury passes Wetz, but remember, with this new format, all you have to do is top 2. As you do not have to win like you used to, but the benefit to winning is you do get the bonus point, and Mertz is down on points from Kingsbury and Marwan Mafta. So he is the only other car to make both the finals, and that's why he's 3rd in points. Otherwise, he'd be way down in points. But Kingsbury looks like he's going to hold the transfer spot from Wetz. And remember, Johnson 4th, Harbert's 5th after the issues on the first lap of the race. But Mertz will jump the mound on the dirt and win heat number 1 here in Sonoma. Transferring is Kingsbury and Wetz. Looks like he has an issue in the 23 and a hard impact in the background there. They will go to the LCQ with Harbert and Johnson. And from high above, plenty of fans here at the Sonoma Raceway getting ready to see the second heat race. It's going to be Marwan Mafta, Matt Kingsbury, Philip Kraus, and Dylan Livengood. Revving them up. Getting ready to go here in Sonoma. Mafta leads us off the line, down to turn 1. Philip Kraus battling him side by side, 191 v1, nearly contact as Kraus had to run it wide. Matt Kingsbury battling with the defending champion as we did not see him last week in Phoenix. Over the jump. Mafta, exactly what he wants to see to try and make it 2 heat wins in a row, with the transfer spot being battled between Kingsbury and Kraus. And Philip Kraus has not been happy with car number 1 in the last couple weeks. Not happy with the new Subaru, much happier with the Gen 3 regulation, very tricky to drive, along with his teammate. As remember, these newcomers to the Gen 4 regulations, the drivers that we have not seen before, are more adapted to these cars than the likes of Mertz, Livengood, Kraus, and Wetz, our old veterans of the NASA RallyCross Challenge. Looks like no one's going to make the same mistake that Harberts did last race, and Marwan Mafta, the man from Egypt, will lead us over the jump to end the first lap. The other Kingsbury brother, Matt Kingsbury, in 2nd in the transfer spot. Philip Kraus in 3rd in car number 1, and then Livengood lurking in the 51. Perfect synchronized drifts from all 4 competitors. It's a very tricky line to follow, because if you're not on the cleared route, it's the same thing as stage rally. The first cars are always the slowest because you have to clear the racing line. Mafta will joker at his first opportunity to take that out of the equation. Livengood's going to joker, so where is this going to put the 4-time champion and 13-time race winner? It's going to put him battling with Philip Kraus and Kingsbury. Kingsbury gets by him, Kraus gets by him temporarily, but off the track goes car number 1. That's going to hinder his ability to potentially transfer, as Livengood has shown his card, and it only put him in front of the 1, but the 1 ran off the track. So I think the real spoiler here is going to be Matt Kingsbury to see if he can take the fight to Mafta, but I'm not sure as we're coming across flags. As 4-time champion Livengood, I mentioned in the last 2 weeks, it's still a huge storyline, still recovering from that incident that he had, but he has not been off the pace. And Philip Kraus joker, you saw on the bottom of the screen there, but he ran it wide, and I think he's going to be stuck behind Dylan Livengood. So Mafta holds the lead in heat number 2. Where is Kingsbury? Kingsbury has not jokered yet in the 21, so I don't think he will be able to take this victory. Obviously, there's still half a race left, but with this delta that Mofta has, I don't think Kingsbury's going to be able to get it. We'll have to see, though. Anything can happen. Living Good nearly off the track. Contact between the champions, and Living Good into the wall. Race control says no penalty. 2 to go for Mofta. Race control says no penalty as the 51 turned down on the 1. But look at the damage on the Subaru Impreza for Philip Kraus. Massive damage to the right side suspension. I'm not sure how that car's still driving straight. And Living Good loops it in the 51. So both of them having car troubles after that contact. You can tell Philip Kraus is upset. He was trying to take the fight to the 51. Clearly that's not going to happen. Coming to the white flag for Marwan Mofta. There is the gap from him to Kingsbury. I don't think Kingsbury's going to have the delta. We'll have to see. Jokering is the 21. He definitely won't as he runs it off the track. Mofta takes the white flag, and if he can cruise it on home, he will win the heat race in Sonoma. 42.602 to Kingsbury of 42.008, so it's 0.6 of a second slower, roughly. And that's given you run a perfect lap. I'm not really sure that either of those guys ran a perfect lap from the Joker or the regular course. Philip Kraus still struggling in the Subaru 43.636, and Dylan Livingood massive damage of 50.628. That's because he looped it. No problems for this guy, though. He gets out front and drives away. Marwan Mofta will win the second heat race here in Sonoma and get a bonus point. Kingsbury transfers in the 21. And to make an interesting LCQ, it's going to be Philip Kraus, defending champion, and Dylan Livingood, the 4-time champion. This is going to be a stacked LCQ here in Sonoma. LCQ time, Wetz, Kraus, Harberts, Livingood, and Zach Johnson for 4 laps. And the top 2 spots will transfer. Getting ready to go. Green flag off the line. Kraus gets the jump over Wetz, but Wetz has the inside line. Will the Subaru beat the Ford to turn 1? Yes! Contact with Harberts and Johnson send Johnson back to 5th. Wetz does not make the same mistake he did 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to let that die unless Chris Wetz mails us and says to stop it. He hits the jump and then the wall on the landing ramp. Kraus leads at the end, or the beginning, of the first lap of the race. Got the whole shot. And now, it's going to be interesting. Livingood and Johnson both off the track, so I think you can write Livingood off to make a final again today. It's going to be battling with Harberts and Wetz. As Wetz made the final last week in Phoenix, but it's going to be a tougher battle this race. Johnson ran off the road in the 77, and take him out of the equation. It looks like he will finish 9th today in the Volkswagen Beetle. Philip Kraus over the jump to end the first lap of the race with 3 laps to go. He holds the lead from Chris Wetz and Jacob Harberts. Livingood in the back there in 4th. Wetz trying to hold this second and the transfer spot, trying to get a Revolution Racing car into the final, as he was the only one last week. Livingood was the only Revolution Racing car in Daytona. It's going to be harder than this. Contact nearly between Harberts and Wetz. These two battling to the death for the transfer spot, coming across flags. Kraus holds the lead. He jokers on the first opportunity. Get the strategy out of the way so you don't get caught up in traffic. And Philip Kraus takes cross flags. This is the battle that we have to focus on. To the inside went Wetz, looked to defend. He changed his mind from Harberts in the 80. Remember, Harberts runs the Road to Pro Series here on iRacing every alternating week, so he was unable to make it last week. Running a part-time schedule, but he doesn't care about points. He cares about victories. And a very quick effort for car number 80. Coming to the white flag. If history shows us, Wetz should joker on the last lap of the race, but I'm not sure if that's a smart idea. He hits the wall in the 23. It's going to give Harberts the spot. And Harberts jokers. And I'm not sure about the suspension damage on car number 23. As the white flag is in the air, Livingood jokers, and this is a terrible race for Revolution Racing, as they are right now running 7th and 8th in the overall standings. They have not missed a final since last season in Canada. I wish I could say a longer drought of missing both cars in the final. That's not really a drought. It's the opposite of that. But Revolution Racing certainly struggling. I don't think Wetz is going to be able to make it. Kraus holds the lead. Harbert's in second. Whereas Wetz, in this entire situation, he jokers now in the 23. Kraus will win the LCQ. Battling to the line, it's going to be Harbert's beating Wetz. As best of the rest is the 23, and Living Good misses the final as well. So the first time this season that Revolution Racing will not be represented in the final. So our grid for the Sonoma RallyCross Grand Prix. Mertz is on pole, then it's Marwan Moftah, Ray Kingsbury front row, Matt Kingsbury, Philip Kraus, and Jacob Harberts. Interestingly, we only have 2 rows. Getting ready to go for round number 3 of 2018B. Glad you can join us on the Automotive Sports Network. Green flag, off the line, the Subarus are going to battle. It's going to be Mertz v. Moftah into turn 1, then it's Kingsbury battling with his brother into turn 1. Sandwich was Moftah by the Kingsbury brothers, but they're going to not be able to beat the Egyptian into turn number 1. Kingsbury still side by side with him. Mertz out and away from the rest of the field. Over the jump to begin the first lap. Mertz, Moftah, Matt Kingsbury, Ray Kingsbury, Kraus, and Harberts. Subaru 1-2, 4-3-4, Subaru 4. Side-by-side contact with Matt Kingsbury and Moftah as the Egyptian will not give up. Very slow through the dirt. Cresting the hill, Mertz is going to take the lead still. Teammates, brothers, side-by-side, Matt v. Ray. Harbert stuck in 6th in the 3rd last lap motorsports car. As Harberts looks like he has an issue, and into the tires goes the 80, so take him out of it. And Moftah, you know, has had a perfect season so far in the NASA Rallycross Challenge, becoming the second driver to win the first 2 races of the season. I don't know if that's going to happen today, as Mertz has gained the speed that he missed the last 2 weeks. He leads at the end of the first lap. This is going to be an interesting battle all day long between the Kingsbury brothers and Philip Kraus. Kraus, very upset that he's stuck in the back of this pack. Moftah chasing Mertz down. Much cleaner line for the Egyptian than the German. And back out onto the road course. The Kingsbury brothers still 3rd and 4th. Kraus 5th. Harberts, remember, still 6th. Let's see who's going to joker on the 2nd lap of the race. Mertz does in car number 2. So does Matt Kingsbury, so does Kraus. So half the front runners joker. Moftah gets passed by Matt Kingsbury and Kraus. So put Moftah back to 4th. This is the lowest he's been this season in the final. Kraus in 3rd, trying to get MRT a double podium, as they have not been on the podium this season. As 4th was the best finish for Kraus in Daytona. Matt Kingsbury hounding the back of Mertz in car number 2. This race goes extremely quickly. Let's see who's going to joker in the 3rd lap of the race. Mertz does. Kingsbury alternates the strategy. He does not follow car number 2. I believe Mertz was the only one to joker, so his strategy has been shown. His hand has been played, and now Mertz has to run the remaining 6 laps on the regular course. Kingsbury and Harberts, 5th and 6th. We're going to focus on the 2nd place battle as Mertz is in his own zip code as he took his 2 jokers. It's going to be important to see if car number 2 can hold the delta from Kingsbury. Matt slides it on 2 wheels there for a moment. Moftah getting close to Kraus. Let's see if Moftah jokers. Yes, he does. This will release the Egyptian, potentially past Matt Kingsbury as we take lap 5. The next lap will be cross flags, and that releases Moftah back into the path of Mertz, but I think he lost a lot of time battling with Kingsbury and Kraus. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but this is the battle for the podium. Let's see, Matt v. Kraus. And his brother Ray in the 5th spot. Remember, Harberts still in 6th. As Philip Kraus lost that 29 race podium streak that he had going for him. Lost that in Daytona. And I know the Canadian is one for podium streaks and records, especially of that caliber. Others not so much. Cross flags for Mertz in car number 2. Kingsbury's going to battle Moftah as he exits the joker, so this 2nd place battle's heating up. And if they keep battling, they're never going to have a shot to catch the two. But we'll have to see. Kraus fourth. Ray Kingsbury fifth. Contact with Marwan and Matt Kingsbury. Looks like there's no penalty, but that takes the 21 off the track and out of the second spot. I'm not sure entirely what happened. We just saw them make contact. No penalty for those two. And this battle is getting extremely fierce for the podium. Coming to 4 laps to go for Mertz in car number 2. Huge gap from him to Moftaw. Ray Kingsbury exits the Joker. So he's going to be battling Kraus for the 3rd spot. Let's see what's going to happen here. Kingsbury holds 3rd. He ran a 40.849. Looks like he has a little bit of an issue there in car number 25. No harm done. Kraus stuck behind him, and Matt is stuck behind his brother and Kraus. Moftaw still holds 2nd. This is a fierce battle for the midfield. Much more entertaining race than last week. As Kraus trying to take the fight to Ray Kingsbury. I don't believe they have any Jokers left, so we'll have to see. I lied. Kraus takes it to the Joker, so that should release him from the clutches of Ray Kingsbury. Will he be battling Moftaw? He will. Side by side is Moftaw v. Kraus. And you can tentatively, potentially put MRT 1-2. Nearly contact between them, side by side through the dirt, but Moftaw's going to prevail as he clips the tires, does Kraus in car number 1. You know his teammate needs that rear gunner. Mertz, 42.309. Moftaw ran a 42 flat, but he's been battling all race. We're coming to 2 laps to go. As Kraus in 3rd, Ray Kingsbury Jokers. So making a liar out of me as my timing and scoring Joker counter is broken in the commentary box. Kingsbury is going to be battling Moftaw as we enter 2 laps to go. And the American gets passed by the Egyptian in the dirt. 191 v 25. Looks like there's an issue in Kingsbury's car as he makes contact with Kraus. And the 1 is around and off the track. Very upset on the radio is car number 1. So this is the battle left. It's brother v brother for the 3rd spot on the podium, the final spot on the podium. As this is going to get interesting. These guys race harder than normal rivals because they share some blood. White flag for Mertz in car number 2. We haven't spoken much about him, but he certainly got the good jump and is ahead of Marwan Moftaw and Ray Kingsbury. Matt Kingsbury, Kraus, and Harbert's remaining running order. We're focusing on this battle as I'm not sure if the brothers are going to be able to swap places. You know there's no team orders, and I wouldn't think between brothers that there are going to be team orders. There's going to be some profanity before there's team orders. Back to the front of the field. Final corner for the 5-time champion, Josh Mertz, who will jump past the commentary box and win number 36 for the German in NASA RallyCross, and he wins the first time for himself in the Gen 4 regulations. Moftaw 2nd. The teammates and brothers wrecked each other over the jump. Checkers or wreckers. Ray Kingsbury 3rd. Kraus 4th. Matt's going to throw it into reverse and try and get by Harbert's. Win number 36 for Mertz in NASA RallyCross, and the first clean sweep of the season, seeding, heat, and final. Led every lap, fastest lap, but Moftaw will hold the red numbers and a larger points lead going back to Daytona. It's going to be interesting to see, as I believe MRT finished 1-2 last season at the Daytona short configuration. We'll have to see what happens there. But we hope you enjoyed today's coverage here at the Sonoma Raceway for round number 3. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time. Have a good 4th of July, and we hope to see you back at Daytona. Until then, so long, everyone.